Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to solve Leetcode problems. It is not going to be a first take since I've already solved that specific problem. I'm just going to try to walk you through and think together about the reasoning behind each problem. So that's Leetcode number 14, longest common prefix. Write a function to find the longest common prefix string amongst an array of strings. If there is no common prefix, return an empty string. So example number 1, we have as an input we have an array, and inside that array there are multiple strings, and we have to find the longest common prefix. Okay, so that's very important. So the longest common prefix means that we have to compare. So the intuitive approach would be iterating through every string, start from the first letter, so it's gonna be, say for example, flower, so it's gonna be flower, and let's say flow. This is an F, so we're going to iterate and compare the first letter, and then just loop, compare the second letter, and then just loop again and compare the third letter. As soon as we find a letter that is not equal, so it's not equal, we're just gonna end the loop and return the result. So that's the thought process, that's the approach, and we have to code this idea up. So what we're gonna return is a simply result that is gonna be a string, as the problem says. It's gonna be a string containing these letters, and so that's the approach. So here's our class and our function, our method. So as arguments we get strs, which stands for string, which is a list of strings like this, and we have to return, as the typing says, we have to return a string. So we're gonna have, first of all, we're gonna have the result, which is the return value. So what I'm gonna do is always add comments. So this is our return value. So at the end, what I'm gonna return is res. So I'm already going to write it res or result. Let's write all the abbreviation. So we're going to loop for e in range len strs, which is the argument that we get, and I'm gonna take the first string as reference. Okay, then for s in strs, and these are the letters. So now I'm gonna add the conditions that make us break out from this loop. It's gonna be an if condition. So if one of these conditions are true, we're just gonna break out. We're gonna stop, we're gonna break, and return the result. So if I equals the len of s, or, so this condition means that if I equals the len of s, means that the string is basically ended and we are out of bounds. We can't keep looping, so we just stop. So if that's a true condition, we're going to stop, or s at index I does not equal string at the first string. So we take again in consideration as reference the first string, and we take in consideration one of the letters. So if the letters are not the same, we just return the result. And we add result here str 0 I, and that should be it. Let's add some descriptions, comments, so we make it clear. Let's run it. We have an error. Here was the syntax error, so let's try to run it again. Was accepted. The output is FL. This was the input. As you can see, FL is the longest common prefix, because O, we don't have the O letter in the third string. So let's submit this. We still have an error. Let's submit this again. Okay, we just didn't return the result value. So we had to return the result value for that specific function. So that was it. This was Leetcode number 14.